Hey, how's it going? It's me. It's me, Chris. I'm here to do a live stream. Today am I blurry? No. I'm gonna draw some names. What do you think about that? Today is the first day in a few weeks. I guess, yeah, 3 weeks that I'm finally not feeling like I'm gonna die, so that's a nice thing. Still a little congested, but that's what's going on with me. How's everything with you? Thank you so much for tuning in. I just noticed in the chat that today is Pokemon Day, and to be honest, I don't really know what that means. But what I can say is that this morning I played Super Smash Brothers with my kid, and I used a Pokemon in the game. So does that mean I celebrated, or is it like a release day? I don't know. I'm not sure uh if I need to know. Anyway, um, did you guys know that I have these really cool hoodies? We still have some left. Uh, I think a couple of the sizes are sold out, but there's still a good chunk of them. So if you are interested in these, you should grab one before they run out because these are limited screen printed hoodies. Very nice, high quality, very comfy, very cozy, very cozy. So if you are interested in one of those, you could use the promo code LIVE. But if you are a patron or a channel member, use your code because you get a little bit more of a discount. So that's always a nice thing. Also, if not if, I just speaking of patrons and channel members, all of the official Piascik tier members get their name drawn and included in all the videos I make while they are active patrons. So I couldn't do it without you all. Moving my mouth so you can see it in between Marcus and Matt and Sarah. That's kind of funny. And Paul. This is so stupid. Uh, anyway, shout out to all these heroes. Couldn't do it without you all. Uh, should I bring these hats back? We still have a couple gray ones, but the black one sold out. It's a skull and it says GTG. Yeah, gotta go. And then on the side it says see ya. So you could just, because you gotta go. I gotta go. Sorry. I'll see you later. Uh, I think that's. I'm gonna switch over to my iPad so we can start drawing names. Kyborg, you said it's the 30th anniversary of the release of Pokemon. That's crazy that Pokemon is 30 years old. I think that means I'm 600 years old. The good Chad said, I had someone stop me and ask me where I got this hoodie because he loved it. Pointed him your way. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It's a nice hoodie, I gotta say. Okay. iPad time. This is what we're gonna do. So most of you know by now. Try to do this first come, first served, keep things fair, starting from when I go live. And then there's the ability to jump the line with a super chat, $20 and up. It's up to you. No pressure. I'm just saying that's how we do it to keep things fair. And I said this the last 3 times, I think, that I want to come up with another solution, but I haven't done it yet. Probably because the ADHD in my brain only lets me think about it when I'm in this situation, and then it's over and then it's gone. So that's what we're doing. So while we're here talking about this, put some suggestions in the chat along with some questions for me so that I can answer them while I'm drawing, so I don't just like start talking about what I'm doing and then just say a few times. So I don't know. Let's do that. First name is Kyborg. Well, I usually just write it down, but I'm just gonna go right into it because Kyborg is. I'm not gonna forget Kyborg. I'm just gonna play and see if anything happens. Got this fun little combo, maybe? I don't know. See, it's all fun and games with the K and then the Y. They fit together, but then the B throws us for a loop. But we could kind of maybe treat them a little bit different because like Borg is a thing on its own. I don't know. We're gonna keep playing. I do like that this, excuse me, the Y and the R could sort of like mimic each other. That could be something. Oh, I forgot to turn on my background jams that I'm gonna complain about. All right, let's already lean into, let's try a little symmetry here. See if that can help us. Oops, I didn't mean to turn that on. I was trying to play with something for a title for my book that I'm working on. Okay. You weren't supposed to see that. I don't know what we're doing here. I'm just seeing if there's something useful. We're gonna find out. Let's see if this leads us anywhere interesting. Nazrin Norden, you said, what brush or pencil do you use when sketching? I use a brush called Sketchy from my Retro Splico pack, but you know what? You just set me up perfectly for to mention my video on Tuesday is all the brushes that I use. It's just literally just a video where I talk about all the different brushes I use, and it's like, you know, I don't use that many brushes, so I think that's the kind of thing. So it's like I'm still working on the title, obviously, even though I should know that by now, but it's like every single brush that I use every day. And that's coming out on Tuesday. So if you had brush questions for me, they should be answered in that video. All right. I think we're getting there. Did I do that all in the same layer? Well, that's not what I wanted to do. That's okay. Let me just try one more quick thing to see if we can make this a little bit more interesting of a shape. Okay. I think that, excuse me. Okay. Let's start this BO situation. Let's start with Kyborg's BO situation. Why am I struggling with this? Let's turn on symmetry again so I can just do this middle part. So I think I want to try to have these okay. We're not going to use that over there, but at least we've got that thing happening. Okay, so whoa. There's a wall of text over here because I wasn't paying attention. Kendra Holmes, you said, what are you using to hold your iPad? I'm using the Sketchboard Pro 2, my favorite iPad accessory ever. Just makes everything about drawing on an iPad exponentially better. It makes it feel bigger. It makes it ergonomically better, and it's just great. Because you can you're resting your hand or arm on the sketchboard and not the actual screen. It's got adjustable angles. It is delightful. I feel like the amount that I talk about it and answer questions about it, I should be better about having an affiliate link. I don't even know if I actually have one because I'm so bad at business. Okay. I think this is it. I'm just not 100% sold on the BO being the only thing that overlaps, so I think I'm going to change that as I finalize it and hope that I don't regret it doing another sketch. Because if I was doing this in real life, well, I'm doing it in real life, but if I was doing it not in a live stream, I would 100% do another sketch to figure it out, but I don't want to do that thing where I noodle too much and I go slow. So we're gonna not do that. Cynthia Taylor Ends, you said, do you travel and draw with an iPad mini? I thought I watched a video where you compared all the iPads you owned, wondering if it's worth the expense. When I'm actually traveling, I take my iPad because my regular iPad Pro, because it's not that big, and I'll usually need to do some actual work, and if I know that I'm going to be doing some serious drawing, which I'm always going to be doing some serious drawing, but if I'm going to be gone for more than just an afternoon, I take my iPad with me. I, for a while, was taking my iPad mini with me just everywhere, as because it sort of fit in my pocket almost, and is very convenient. But I haven't been doing it that much, mostly because I don't really go places that often. But it was really nice having it all the time. I think I just sort of don't use it that often, so I forget that I have it. And if I'm going somewhere where I know I'm going to be sitting, for example, I just had to take my father-in-law to an appointment, and I was going to be a minor medical procedure, nothing serious. But I knew I was going to be sitting in a waiting room for a couple hours, so I brought my regular iPad because it was worth having so that I could, do some work. So I don't know. If you're someone who goes out a lot, the iPad mini is very convenient because it's, I don't know, it's barely bigger than one of those big iPhones. And the drawing experience is good because it's so intuitive to zoom in and out, rotate canvas on an iPad. And especially if you use Fresco is so well optimized for the iPad that the performance isn't an issue. It handled everything that I do without a problem. So that was a long-winded answer. All right, let's trim this stuff up. Let me get a question. Gabaldan Art, you said, who's your sticker vendor? Are you making them these days? I use some local printers, but recently got a stack of yours and they're holding up well. I especially like the ones with a bit of lift and texture. So the ones that I believe you were referring to that have a lift and texture is because those are screen printed stickers. Those ones, I don't actually know who did those ones specifically because those were made by Adobe for Lightbox when I did that giant mural. So those were characters from the mural and they were giving them out. But I have had other screen printed stickers made that are very similar quality and they were done by Sticker Giant. I had been using Sticker app quite a bit, but I recently got some stickers by Sticker Ninja. The names are so confusing. And those are excellent. So I think I'm probably going to use them over Sticker app from now on. So that's what I would say. So if you want like the thicker screen, the ones you're gonna look for a place that will do screen printed stickers. Okay. I think we just need to do one quick thing here. Because this is all outlines, I think it's gonna benefit from having a little bit of a drop shadow just so we can we can fill in the negative space and get some contrast between like the letter shapes just to separate them a little bit better. That was a confusing way of saying it. Boop, 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 boop. All right, Kyborg. We gotta check when. So like, I'm looking at it and I'm noticing that the KY area is just a little, like the negative space is too much and it's a distraction. So part of me is like, oh well, it's fine because like Borg is like a separate thing, so it's sort of like emphasizing it. But I think I'm just trying to justify things. So I just want to quickly add in a little more weight here just to balance it a little bit more. There we go. That's good. Hope you like it. Next up is this dumb brush menu. Next up is radar. Got very triangular stuff here. Maybe we'll lean into that. Jack the Huge. You said you saw a video you did with Retro Supply Co's page and a description they referred to you as legendary. What's it feel like to be a legend in this space? I gotta say, I have no idea how to answer that. That's nice of them. Was it new? I didn't know that video was out yet. If so, hey, there's a new video I did for Retro Supply Co. and it just came out. Or, because I don't know if I've done one in the past. But a shout out to them for calling me a legend. Love that. All right, let's lean into these angles. Maybe we'll do some like 3D-ish thing with it. Apparently we're in vector mode today because I'm definitely going to use it here to get these like sharp curves and how things fit together. Probably going to improvise a little bit. Let's see. Case 9, you said, have you ever tried those e-ink tablets like the Remarkable 2 or Pro? No. The only tablet that isn't an iPad that I've tested out is the the Magic Drawing Pad. Who makes it? Trying to see if I can find it anywhere. It is I have a video about it, so if you're interested, you can find it. But it's like Android based. It worked pretty well. I think my overall like takeaway from reviewing it was like, sure, it's cheaper, but I would much rather just buy like a refurbished iPad, especially because you don't need the Pro, and it's not really comparable to the Pro. Like you could buy like a 5-year-old iPad Air and it would be fantastic for like 5 more years. They've just been like overly powerful for a long time. So that's my thought on those things. It's just like the pen and the display. The Apple Pencil is so good. The iPad display is so good. It's hard for me to recommend other stuff. And Android is I know a lot of people love Android, but it's very limited in what you can use in terms of like what's available. Like if you're someone who likes Clip Studio Pro, that was available. But Clip Studio Pro it was hard for me to like get used to it because I don't use it. And I feel like it was a little clunky just because I wasn't comfortable in it. Oh, thanks, Matt. The Sketchboard Pro 2 coupon. So if you use the code Piascik, you get 10% off. So if you want a Sketchboard Pro 2, Piascik. That's the promo code. Look at that. I knew I kept Matt around for a reason. Just kidding. Matt helps me all the time. And not just with that promo code. I didn't finish crossing that line all the way. How about instead of saying I just look up at the questions? Patty Emotion, you said you're way too self-conscious to draw when I'm out and about. I totally get that. I feel it too. Like for example, when I was just saying I was in that waiting room the other day, I like made sure I was in a spot where I had my back to a wall, and I was like in the corner so people couldn't look at my screen. Like, let's stop looking at what I'm doing. And it's weird because like what am I worried? Who are they to judge my drawing or anything, or why do I even care? It's it's a weird thing to be a person in this world. I don't know what I'm doing right here, but I'm just making some like maybe abstract fun. I don't know. I'm just playing, okay? What was that? Patrick Putman, you said, how do you feel about marketing, advertising your store on platforms like Facebook? Do you do any marketing for your stuff? I don't really. I've like experimented with it from time to time, not in a long time. I feel like I haven't gotten the results, but I think a lot of it could be that I've always just been so active on social media that it's sort of like it's hard to know where the value is actually coming from. So, no, I don't do any marketing, but I also sort of feel like if people see ads, they're like less likely to want it. But then again, like I impulse buy stuff that I see from ads all the time. So who knows? All right, Radar. I hope you like it. Actually, I want to try one more thing. You know what? Since we did this in Vector, I'm going to stick to Vector, and I'm going to use my Vector texture shape library. So this is available in my shop. Little promo we're doing right now. Vector Texture 2. I'm going to grab, what's this? Yeah. Do I want that one? What's this one? I think I want that one. Okay. So let's delete this one. What I'm going to do is I am going to come down here to my drawing, and I'm just going to select these spaces that are not the letters, because I want it everywhere but the letters. And then I'll just come up here to this layer and go to copy, and then I will paste that, and then we can delete this because we don't need it anymore. Cool. And now we got this whole little halftone thing in Vector. Pretty neat, right? All right, Radar. Hope you like it. Next up is Ingrid. We are just all one-word names today. Did I spell that right? Yep. Okay. Nico Cordy 2014. You said, you're new here. Do you do traditional graffiti like tags, people, blah, blah, blah? Because it's basically mostly lettering, and since you do a lot of that, I don't know. Not really. Maybe a little bit a long time ago, but yeah, I just like to draw. I do. I'm mainly I'm an illustrator is what I do for a living, and often incorporate lettering. So sometimes I say I'm an illustrator and a letterer, but it's mostly that kind of stuff is what I do for a living. All right, Ingrid, what are we gonna do here? Maybe I'll start playing around with a G, because that's a fun letter to draw like this. Maybe. Kind of like the angle that's happening. Let's see if we can push that a little bit. Just make it more intentional. looking a little too sideways, so just curve that a little bit. I think that's a fun shape. Let's just do one more quick sketch to try to figure out some of these areas that I'm a little unsure about. Like this. Philip Dahl, you said, wow, I just got done making an animation in Fresco. It's only like 2 seconds long, but the complexity of it almost breaks Fresco. Do you run into these issues? I'm on an M1 iPad Pro 12-inch. That is interesting that you're running into issues with an M1 iPad Pro. Because there's that video that we were talking about earlier. I had this like animation that had like 20 layers of different things moving around, and I tested it on like a first gen mini iPad, not a mini, but like the 9-inch iPad Pro that they used to make, and then an iPad mini, which was like a glorified iPhone, and like they all handled it fine. I'm wondering if maybe you're like, are you working at a massive resolution? And like what kind of stuff is happening in the animation? Another thing that could be, if you're working in with vector brushes, that could be a problem because there's so many frames of animation and layers, and if it's vector art, it's just constantly doing all the math in the world, and there's not really a point to do the animation in vector because you can't use it as vector because it's only going to be an animated file, which isn't vector. So those are my thoughts. Maybe one of those will help, or you can clarify the situation and I will try to give more thoughts. Okay, let's tighten it up. You said, for context, you have your character walking to the closet, open the door for things to fall on him. It's in 4K. They're all raster brushes, which I would think might be heavier. No, definitely not, because with the raster brushes, they are, they're just images. With the vector, it's constantly like recalculating. Like all of those have all this like math built in. So in that type of situation, the vector could be heavier, but you're not using, and 4K is not an issue either, because I typically work bigger than that when I'm animating, just for the like the drawing experience, because I find that when I work too small, I don't have as much brush control. But I did a ton of motion stuff, but that's the iPad that I used to have, and I never had any issues. Maybe have you restarted it in a while? I don't know. It seems like you should not have any issues with an M1 Pro. Because like the only reason I ended up upgrading was because I was wanting to I wanted the nano texture iPad screen, and you know, as someone who does this professionally, it's like a business expense, so that makes it easier to justify. So if you've been following the saga of the book I'm working on about my 14-year daily drawing project, there's like 2 names of titles I've been leaning towards. I think both of them were suggestions from patrons. One is a completely normal amount of drawings, which is kind of fun. I like how that's kind of silly. And the other one is the accidental illustrator. And then part of me is thinking, oh, it could be the accidental illustrator, and then a completely normal amount of drawings could be like a subtitle. The problem is, the reason I'm having a hard time with the accidental illustrator is like aesthetically, those are 2 long words that are annoying that, to make look good. So hesitating with that. I did do like a full cover mock-up with the other title as a test, but I don't know. Anyone have any thoughts about that? Hope you like it, Ingrid. Next up is X-ray with a 3. What are we doing here? Can't believe that's your real name. What the hex, Ray? What in the hex are we doing here? Philip Dahl, you said you've not restarted it in a while. I thought the same thing. There are a lot of layers in motion at once, but I feel like there's a lot of hang up. I think you're on 33 frame of it. Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. I really should have no problem with that. Like there's that I have a class like in animation for illustration or something. It's like Fresco motion, and I do this like underwater scene in the class, and it's got a ton of layers, and it's definitely more it's definitely longer than that. Let's see. What the hex? Why can't I stop doing it? Oh, what the hex, Ray? We're gonna get somewhere eventually. Okay. Like part of me wants to try to do something with symmetry. The problem is the X feels like it needs to be in the center, but it can't be really. So I think we got to do something with like size to balance it. Let's see if we like. All right, we're getting there. Illustrating, you said, can the Sketchboard Pro 2 be set up vertically, or is that, yeah, it's got holes on all four corners, and you can move the pins whichever way you want. Okay, so I'm just trying to make some guides here. Okay. One more quick sketch, and then we can tighten this up. Did I already make any layer? What am I doing here? I'm confused. Okay. All right. Not 100% certain on the shape of that 3, so I may improvise that a little bit, but let's see. I think I actually don't want this to be super hard edged like this, so I might use this as like, I'm gonna use it as like a loose structure, and then maybe do some like wiggly lines instead to give it some energy. Patrick, you asked if I have a set amount of sketches I like to follow that you do before you tighten it up. It's not a set amount at all. It's usually just until it feels right to me. Sometimes if it feels right immediately, I may like force myself to do like another version just to be sure, but sometimes it's a bunch and sometimes it's like not that many at all. It really depends on how it goes. Sometimes they just happen and you're like, oh, there we go. That was easy. I'm trying to decide if I want to like fill this in, fill in these letters, or do like a 3D situation. I think I want to do like a 3D situation. It feels like it needs something. Whoops. All right. Let's just load that as a selection and then erase that. Cool. Hope you like that X-ray. The great Dandini, you said, I love how you have incorporated your background and draw zone. I wish I knew how. Great content. Thanks so much. So I just kind of made that background graphic, and I use Ecamm Live to stream, so it just allows me to put whatever I want, and then I put my camera down there, and then I have my iPad screen, and then I just kind of made a frame that for that size that it's just an image on top of it. So it's pretty straightforward with Ecamm Live, and before that I used Streamlabs or something, and that was fairly easy too. Next up is Barkley Brown. Are you a dog, Barkley Brown? I guess that could be very rude. It just sounds like, I feel like if you had like just a very good dog and you're like, are you a little Barkley Brown? I feel like maybe I'm being very rude, and I'm sorry. I mean it with nothing but affection. Okay. What are we gonna do? I don't know. Maybe we'll just play with some chunky letters. Barkley. Yes. Okay. I feel so much better that it is Professor Barkley Brown. Woo. Thank you. Give my regards to the professor. And to be honest, like, is it really rude if I like dogs more than people? Then it's more of a compliment, because we'd be like, oh, are you saying I'm a dog? You wish. You dang wish you were a dog. You wish you were the best little doggy ever. You might need the professor title. I am just curious if we use the liquify to maybe make this a little bit more something. Just felt a little flat. Not gonna overthink it. All right, I'm gonna use my classic inker and that's too thin. Elgit Alchemy, you said you got so excited that I got into a live stream at the beginning that I've been a distant network. My coworkers probably think I lost it. Well, I'm sorry for interfering with that a little bit, but I appreciate the support and excitement. Just tell your coworkers that I said it was okay. Get out of here. Spam call. Okay. What we need to do is put Professor on its own layer. Stop it! I need to... Anyone use one of those like services or apps that finds your data and gets rid of it? Because boy howdy, I'm getting hounded. Okay, now we can load a professor, and then I can come down here and erase that. And I think there's just a couple little spots that I needed to come back to. Where are they? All right, Professor. I hope you like it. Next up on the list is Angbeam, Angbeam, and Angbean, 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 Angben. Dude Ranchero, you said, wondering if you've run into this, that Gen Z folks don't read cursive. I've heard some say that about graphics I've done at my club. You know, it's like, I feel like cursive has been, I'm not sure if they might not, I don't know for sure, but for like my professional work, anytime I've ever done anything in lettering, I feel like it's always like, oh, it's a little hard to read. But I feel like I try to do my cursive not necessarily very traditional. Like, for example, I try to emphasize the shape of the letters, like, and especially for uppercase, like, you know, this is an uppercase I, never do that. I just draw a regular I. Or like, you know, an S can be confusing, but like when I draw it, I'll often like sort of like emphasize the shape of the S, so I think it's still sort of, you can figure it out unless you're a dum-dum. So that's my not real answer. All right, what are we gonna do here? I don't know. I'm just playing right now. We'll see. I feel like that should be a given, that I'm just gonna maneuver around a little bit and see if I come to anything. What if we just start fitting letters together? Because that's fun, right? I think it gets too forced at the end because don't necessarily love that. Let's try something else. Allison Bear, you said it's perfect. He loves it. It's almost exactly how he signs it on all his academic. Oh, wow. I'm glad I was able to channel that. B-E-E is a tricky combination of letters. Gosh dang, I hate this song so much. I've been not liking this drawing. That's the worst joke I've ever done. It's like they're two separate halves of the word that don't want to live together. They're like, we don't communicate with the other side. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. Urban Scaramouche, you said it's pronounced ung as lung and ben as bean. Ung bean. Thank you. Ung bean. Okay. Does that help me? I'm not sure. It helps me information-wise. kind of like this. Might be fun to have it. Like 3D situation coming off. I mean, let's do it. This pet, Alligator Alchemy, you said it sounds like it's for a pet food subscription box commercial. Yeah, it's... Or it just seems like the repeating music that they have to play so they can list all of the side effects of some sort of thing. Like, how did this even make it? Like, what part of this song did I click to when I was just trying to, like, find songs quickly on Epidemic Sound? Like, there must be one, like, 5-second part of this song that I heard and I was like, oh, okay, this is fine. I do like this song, but I feel like it is not the right vibe. I feel like it's very dramatic. Get rid of some lines that we needed here, but whatever. That's what happens when I wait too long to do the trimming, or lean on it too heavy. I just like that it allows me to make sure the alignments that I want are just dialed in. When I do this like 3D stuff, it's very much willy-nilly and not really based in reality, because if you sometimes if I do it like the way it actually should be, the shapes don't work that well and it just doesn't flow. So it's mostly just sort of winging it in like a way that's close. Because otherwise I would just like duplicate the layer and move it down, but sometimes that doesn't give me the results that I expect. So I just sort of simplify it a little bit and make it close. Whoops, wrong layer. Looks like I missed a couple spots. We can so we needed this, and then let's just bring that over. This I feel like could come out a little bit further. And then this. And then here. Cool. Hope you like it. Next up is Kendra Holmes. The daughter of Katie Holmes and Sherlock Holmes. That is the dumbest joke that I've made on this live stream. All right, let's see. You already know that we got an L in the middle and 2 lines and a K, and you might be thinking, I think he's gonna do that thing where he like makes the K and then script and like connects it down to the L because it's so satisfying. Is he gonna do that? He might. You gotta draw the other letters first and see if it's actually gonna make sense. It's looking like it might happen. It's not there yet, but we can explore other situations here. I think we're almost there. This area right here is not ideal yet. Just feels a little, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just missing something. So I think let's pull this in a little closer. And then maybe this H can have some more room to have a little bit of a flourish city on this. All right, just about there. I just want to do one more iteration. There's still something I'm not fully engaged with yet. I think this could be a little bit lower. This, just checking for overall shape vibes to see if it makes an interesting shape, which I think it does. So I think we just need to like lower this a little bit. That's not the right tool. Kendra, okay. Put them on the same layer accidentally. Okay, so I'm planning on making this knocked out of a shape. So I'm just gonna fill the background in dark so that I can draw in white, because you don't wanna draw in black. And then invert it because it's not gonna look the same. I can't explain why right now. Philip Dahl, you said, have you ever done this with celebrities and made their letters represent their public persona? I'm trying to think. I have done some, not exactly. I'm sure I've done some like lettering, like trying to think of an example. Some lettering that, like, you know, gave off a vibe or like looked disgusting and drippy, or but I can't think of an example off the top of my head. I'm sure I've done some like political commentary through lettering. Okay, so now we can do the outer shape. I think I just want to keep it mostly the same, but just pull it in a little bit closer. No soul, no prob. You said, I should say these streams have been so impactful. They have helped me really lock into lettering. You just finished doing 65 names that I've made as stickers for all my coworkers. That's amazing and so cool to hear. Thanks for letting me know. I really appreciate that. Whoops, wrong layer. Cool. Hope you like it, Kendra. Let's see if we can do one more real fast for Amy. With an I. There's no me and Amy, but they're Amy. I need to stop making dumb jokes. No I and team. No, there's no, yeah, no I. And I've lost it. My brain is fried. What are we gonna do here? What are we gonna do here? Double E's. We know I don't like that. We just did script. Let me do it again. I don't know what on earth I'm doing right here. Whoop! I don't fully hate it. I think it's kind of silly to have that the crossbar come over to dot the I. I think that's kind of funny. Real humor type situation here. Do like this sort of curly Q type vibe with the two E's. Patrick Mudd, you said, have you ever thought about doing a live stream where you do a draw this with me theme, where you draw something and have us draw with you? I think that would be a cool live stream. Not really, but I would certainly be open to that. Thanks for the suggestion. Definitely always open for those kind of suggestions. Sometimes I like feel obligated to do the name ones because some people are like, oh, I'm trying to do it, but then I don't get to them. So that's why it keeps happening. Also, it's a thing that I don't have to prepare for at all, because there's nothing I can do to prepare. I just have to see what happens. Raf Vorselmans, you said, do you consider your natural handwriting ugly or beautiful? Like for the stuff you jot down at the grocery store? To be honest, I don't... I don't think of it in either way, because I don't equate the two. When I'm lettering, I feel like I'm drawing, which I am. And when I'm writing something, even though it's like the same, like it's letters, is in no way related, really. It's just a thing. Like, I'm just writing something down and I'm not thinking about it aesthetically or something. I also feel like it varies too, because I don't know. But I definitely, this is very much more drawing to me than writing. Like, they don't feel in any way related, even though they're both letter forms. I kind of like that line being fully thin, but I want to see what it looks like if I have it taper into the line. Yeah, I guess I like that more. I also feel like it needs a little hairline frame for some reason. Oh, maybe to visually tie into that line on the ligature. The problem with a single stroke line is, like, if it's not perfect, it stands out a little bit. All right. I hope you like it, Amy. Bry5, you said, have you ever messed with Blender grease pencil? Sorry if you get asked this bunch. I haven't. Blender confuses me so much, and I haven't really spent the time dealing with it. But someday, maybe. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. I do live streams every Friday at the same time, so I'll see you next week. It's been a lot of fun, and I'll see you real soon. New video on Tuesday where I talk about all the brushes I use every day. So look for that. Thanks, everyone. Bye.